Very much. Before we get started, I'd like to tell you what happened just before we got here. I was discussing with Mark, and he gave me an advice because he saw I was a little bit nervous. He told me starting a conference talk is a little bit like jumping into the ocean. He told me when you start breathing very strongly and deeply, then you jump, and then you don't know where you are, and you realize there are bubbles everywhere, and you breathe out everything. And that's this intense feeling that you need to experience when you get started with your conference. So I know it's been a very long day for everyone today, and I'd like everyone to feel a little bit this feeling. So if you want to join me, you can whether stand up or stay at your place and close your eyes and take a little bit of exercise with me. So if you want to stand up now, at least the 9800 district, I expect you guys to join. Yeah, thank you very much. So I'm going to count to 3, and I'm going to ask everyone to breathe as deeply as possible and to breathe out, okay? Everyone, 1, 2, 3. Come on, I didn't hear you guys. You can do much better than this. Come on, just imagine you're entering in the ocean. You're just jumping in, okay? 1, and you can do the movement with me, okay? All right, let's do it. 1, 2, 3. Oh yeah, I definitely heard it this time. Thanks, everyone. Well, did you know that 70% of the oxygen that we just breathe in came from our oceans, which is surprisingly bring us to today's topic, which is how can we save our oceans? So did you know that every year 8.8 million tons of plastic waste finish in our oceans, putting hundreds of species at risk of extinctions. And by 2040, 8.8 million tons of plastic would be enough plastic to cover our entire oceans. Scary statistics, especially once you realize that 90% of the plastic pollution entering in our oceans only comes from 10 rivers. Just 10 rivers. Only 10 rivers. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Ludovic Grosgean, and I have 3 passions. I love engineering, I love people, and I love our oceans. And today I'm gonna tell you a story. I've always been fascinated by my grandfather, and before he left, he gave me one key message. He asked me, what can you do in this world to make a difference? So after he passed away, I decided to do something which matters. And I decided to study oceanography and engineering until one day where everything changed in my life. I arrived on this incredible remote beach, the smell of the ocean, the whistle of the wind, and the beach all covered with shells. And suddenly I was struck. In front of me, dozens of birds, ripped up bodies, plastic in their stomach. I was shocked. I rushed home, and I scrubbed the web all night. And I realized that many endangered species have the same fate. In fact, most of the seafood which ends up in our plates contains contaminated plastics. I could no longer stand there and realize that our ocean is getting filled with litter. So I decided to do something and step up, and that's why I decided to set up this environmental consultancy called Oceanics Group in order to help to develop technological solutions to help to remove pollution from the environment. But let's step back a little bit for a minute. why are animals eating plastics in the first place? Well, the reason is simple. They sometimes mistake plastics as food they would normally find in their natural environment. So today, getting rid of the plastic pollution is one of the most urgent matters on our planet, and it would benefit millions of people who have poor access to clean water, and it would help the environment to recover. This is critical to maintain this fragile equilibrium that we need for a healthy food chain. So today, luckily, innovators are working. In 2013, Boyan Slat founded the Ocean Cleanup, and he aimed to develop technology to remove the plastic continent in the middle of the Pacific, which is the size of the Texas. However, the best way to get rid of the plastic pollution is still to stop it at the source, and before it reaches even the ocean on the first place. And 90% of the pollution being generated from our 10 rivers makes it for us very easy to focus on only 10 rivers. We have the potential to make a lasting impact for our entire planet. So I always wanted to save our oceans, so the best way to do it is to stop the pollution at its source. That's why we started on a small scale here in Melbourne. And as a result, for the past 2 years, we've been working with the Melbourne City Rotaract Club on a solution to clean the Yarra River. And we've been removing everything from plastic bottles, polystyrene, bike helmets, or even syringes. And we started to undertake a very cool operation called O-Bike Fishing. And the idea was to raise the interest of the young generation into removing the dockless bikes which were fallen into the river. And our volunteers got very enthusiastic about it and realized that we could all together make our ocean cleaning our ocean fun again. So our operation was a huge success. We learned 3 critical things from this project. Number 1, a small action can have global impact. That's what we call the butterfly effect. Number 2, we discovered the power of masses. The more people who came, the cleaner the river became. But number 3, we also faced our limitations. How many volunteers did we need to keep our river clean on a daily basis? And worse, we realized that how many volunteers like this do we need to keep our entire planet clean? Why don't we automate it once and for all? So consequently, that's what we started to design, and that's how the Ocean Clinics was born. So our project, the Ocean Clinics, has the potential to change the life of millions of people all around the world through improving all types of bodies of water and improving all types of habitats. And it's literally like teaching machines how to detect and remove pollution straight out of the environment. So the Ocean Clinics is really the simplest solution you could imagine in order to get the community involved and use technology to undertake this social change. So it comes with 4 steps. So the first one is S for social media. The first step is really to build the awareness of everyone, and social media is the best platform to do it. So it works very simply. If everyone around the planet, or even every Rotarian, could take one picture, only one picture of pollution, and tag it, we could build together the biggest database of pollution in the world. The second step is T for technology. The technology today is, the future is artificial intelligence. It's the best way to move forward. And the way it works the same way the infant brain would develop. So we can easily train a computer to learn how to detect patterns in images. So the more images we will collect, the better the algorithm will become, and the easier it would get to detect very specific items and recognize what it is. So if you can teach how to detect pollution to a computer, it will become better at it every time, and this exponentially. The third step is the environment. Once you have the ability to detect automatically the pollution, you also have the ability to remove it automatically. If you can do that, that means that you could install or use already installed cameras everywhere around the city to detect pollution, and you could install it everywhere on litter traps that we have around all along the Yarra River. You could install it on drones, you could install it on surface vehicle or underwater vehicle. You can literally use any type of technology that you want to actually detect and remove pollution straight out of the environment. But remember, the best step is to stop it at the source. So once you know where the pollution is coming from, you can actually use public awareness, and that's the last step, which is empowering local community everywhere around the world, in Africa or somewhere else, for example, to take leadership actions to make a social change. You know, and you can quantify how much pollution is passing through. You can detect where it's coming from. So you could take the social change to change the way we design our product or the way we have collection methods and where you place them in order to remove the pollution before it gets to the ocean in the first place. Now, today, unfortunately, these slides are not the ones that I had passed today, but I'm going to still tell you a little bit more about other Rotary initiatives. There are a lot of initiatives around the planet, and our project is very little, but if you reach out to other projects and other community projects around the Rotary world, such as the End Plastic Soup, you will realize that there are people doing things everywhere around the planet to make a change around the plastics. And working together is really going to make this change, because alone we can go very far, but you will never go as far as you can if you don't have this community. And that's what Rotary gave me the power throughout this project and throughout the award and the recognition which went with it, is the power to also encourage young generations, encourage interactors or Rotaractors to join Rotary Club and organize projects together. Now, if you had the proper slides, you would notice that we are organizing a cleanup event on the 3rd of March, which is in 2 weeks' time. We will all gather. Rotarians, Rotaractors, and interactors are all welcome, but bring even more people. And during this cleanup, we'll have 2 hours walking near the Yarra River. They might also have reporters coming, because the project got very encouraged through the local media here in Melbourne. And we would like to make this event very special. So if you want to join, let's go for this Cleanup Australia Day on the 3rd of March. And we can all do a social difference. And even if you can't physically come, you can always do a donation throughout one of our Rotary portal or throughout Cleanup Australia Day, and we will use the funds to remove pollution here locally. And the last thing I wanted to say is, even if you think it's just what you're doing is just local, you might be surprised, because Rotary actually empowers people and empowers young generation to make a social change. Today, people like me are not scared of dreaming big, and sometimes a small local project here based in Melbourne might end up being heard on the other side of the planet, and suddenly you realize that you can actually have the power through a local initiative to change the entire world on a global scale. So don't be afraid to dream big. And if you have Rotaractors, if you have interactors in your district, empower them to dream big, because together there is no limitation there is no limitation to our project. And if we can end up polio, there is no reason why we can't provide access to clean water for every human on the planet. And that's what I want to leave you today with, one key message: don't be scared of dreaming big. Rotary International has awarded this project because they saw the potential of building a social and technological approach. And even though it looks huge to collect millions of images from Rotarians all around the world, dreaming big is what will make this project feasible and will save our oceans. So thank you very much, and now I'll be happy to take questions.